The other day I made a presentation in English about the Tor browser and how it actually works, how it functions. It included the history, how this idea actually got together, that the issue about the internet security was already active in the 1990s, maybe not to the public, but to the government eyes it was already a threat. If they posted confidential information there, then it would not be safe. So thereafter they searched for an alternative, so they started funding the onion routing project, and that's the acronym for Tor. At first it was a network, and then it turned into a browser in 2008 actually. Then it just gained popularity, and I'm pretty sure most of you know the Tor browser by its criminal activities probably. In those criminal activities, I'm pretty sure only a small percentage of that is the deep web. I'm pretty sure you are familiar with the deep web comparison to an iceberg. So it's like an iceberg, and only 4% is the surface web, and the rest is the deep web and the dark web combined. And also, talking about the deep web and the dark web, do not mistake these two, because the amounts of articles I have seen and the amount of wrongly used names that are used on those sites are abnormous, and I started to have a feeling like I'm getting something wrong. But to actually start seeing why the deep web is so big, you need to see the difference between the deep web and the dark web. When I did this research, I stumbled upon 5 most commonly used definitions: surface web, deep web, dark web, Darknet, and Mariana's web. And let me just explain what all of these terms mean. And the way that I am gonna explain it is I'm gonna try my best to express what I think it is, like I would be explaining this to a 9-year-old. Because if you can't explain it to a 9-year-old, then you might not even fully understand it yourself. So the surface web is the easiest to explain. It's the web that we browse every day. It's the internet, you could say. The normal, your everyday internet, your everyday websites, that's it. The deep web, however, is the part of the internet that you can't access normally through normal browsers. You need to download an additional browser that is not Google Chrome, that is not the Firefox, not the Edge, but rather the onion routing browser, the Tor browser. That's the most commonly used browser, but there are others out there. But the Tor browser is the best gateway to this part of the internet. It's still the internet, but it's not the official part. It's the uncensored internet, you could say. Uncensored. So what can it be used for? Not only it can be used for criminal activities that it's most commonly known for, people actually use it, journalists use this, and people who have strict internet restrictions in their countries can also use the Tor browser, and they don't have to specifically use a VPN. They don't have the chance, or they don't want to pay for it. So the Tor browser can be an alternative. Not a good one, because you're still in that country, but the security of the Tor browser, it's made in a way that it's harder to get tracked, and it's harder to find out your IP address. Because the way that the Tor browser works, it has these 3 nodes like the layers of onion. Let's say you're the client and you request some sort of information, so it has to go through 3 nodes, through these 3, you could say, partners. So it goes through node 1 onto node 2 and onto node 3, and only node 3 knows about node 2, and only node 2 knows about node 1, where it came from and what that information contains. And that node 3, also mostly referred to as the exit node, goes onto the server and sends this request, and the server takes this request and it sends the answer back through the same 3 nodes, and that's the way it goes. Yes, it's slower than the normal internet, but the security is worth it for most people. That's the deep web. The darknet is the part of the deep web that can not be accessed so easily. These sites have a .onion at the end of their names, and their names, or the URL, it has just chunks of random characters and they don't make sense. You can only access them through the Tor browser. They can't be accessed through the normal internet, and most of these sites are to do with criminal activity and illegal services. So that's the dark web, but it's only a small percentage of the deep web. The deep web contains major information that we'll get into later, but I just want to right now explain what's the difference between all of these. The dark web, however, is the only synonym that you could use for the dark net. Dark web, darknet, same things. Dark web is more commonly referred to as the entire darknet. Darknet are specific websites, at least from my understanding. And the last term, it actually is the Marianas web. The name comes from the deepest part of the world in the ocean, the Marianas Trench. It is referred to as the deepest part of the internet, the deepest part of the dark net, and it contains secret government and agency data, Area 51 data, and a lot bigger secrets that can't be revealed on the deep web or on the normal web at all. So this term came after Silk Road was shut down in 2013, and Silk Road was at the time the biggest drug market on the dark web. That was one of the biggest moments in the deep web development, when a lot of people actually started finding out what the deep web really is about. But then this layers of deep web, Iceberg, another iceberg that was a whole infographic, started getting popular around the internet, and people started to look into it, and there was a lot of new information about the deep web, actually naming 5 layers of the deep web, but we know only like one. There's only one, right? No, there's 5, at least according to this iceberg. But here's the neat part: you don't trust this layers of iceberg because of several reasons, but I will name just one. It's to do with the Marianas web. This infographic says that, the only way to access the Marianas web is to use this sort of thing called polymetric falchigon derivation, and people all around the internet ask what this is. Nobody knows because it's not a real thing. And also in the description of this infographic, it says that also quantum computing is involved. So once you don't understand something, you always use the word quantum and computing, and to make it more believable, I guess, for some people, or not for everyone. We could say that the Marianas web is fake, not real, probably. So, as we found out, the deep web counts as everything that can't be accessed using your normal everyday browsers. Or in other words, search engines can only show a limited amount of results. It won't show academic databases, medical records, legal documents, certain scientific reports, government reports, subscription-only information, because usually this information is secured and therefore search browsers can't access this information. So technically every password in the world counts as the deep web. Unless it gets leaked, of course. As a matter of fact, you use the deep web every day and you might have no idea that you do. Your bank account balance, your Amazon orders, your Gmail, your search browser history, your liked videos on YouTube is all the deep web. Now, that doesn't mean that it can be accessed through the Tor browser, but it's the deep web. And I wish that I could explain more, but right now, this video is taking too long to make, and I will probably divide this into more than one video. Probably will make 1 or 2 shorts. That's the plan. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you learned something new, because I thought that this information was already known to a lot, although I myself never thought about this deeper until I made this presentation in English. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. God bless and goodbye.